Alright, hey, welcome back listeners to another intense no-flap all story episode of Real Talk, the podcast where we can get raw with the real minds behind today's boldest stories. I'm your host, Tim Sanchez, and today's guest doesn't just write fiction. He butchers it down to the bone. He's gritty, he's grounded, and he's got a pen dipped in blood and reality. You might know him as H.G. Thul, but I've got the man himself here today, Harley Thul, the Iowa-born author behind the gripping new novel, Henderson's Meat Wagon. Harley, welcome to Real Talk. Glad to have
Thank
you
you.
here.
Glad to be here.
How are you doing today?
Oh, not too bad. I think I'm doing pretty good, actually.
That's great. So let's get right to it. So Henderson's Meat Wagon is a wild, disturbing, deeply human ride. It's part crime, part small-town horror, part theological reckoning. Where did this story come from?
Where did the story come from? Well,
Yeah.
it's actually a parody of Donald Trump's administration. And I used to be a meat cutter back in the day, and so I used my experience, to make the story better.
Wow. Yes, actually, so that's actually very nice. I am a chef, but I'm not really skilled with the knife. But yeah, let's talk about those freezers for a second. You described the meat in Henderson's with surgical detail, miscellaneous cuts that might not be from any animal we know. Were you trying to blur the line between commerce and horror?
But excuse me, what was that again?
Oh, were you trying to blur the line between commerce and horror?
Commerce. What is commerce?
Um, well, um, well, as for my question, since this, let's talk about those, freezers for, a second. Since you describe, the meat in Henderson's meat surgical
Right,
detail,
right,
miscellaneous cuts,
right,
yeah.
right.
So commerce meaning, yeah, selling of the meat.
Oh. Well, it's all
Yes.
it's all
Mm,
symbolic, as in the yeah,
symbolic.
the murders, they represent lies. Cutting the bodies up to sell to the public,
Mm,
that represents covering up those lies. So everything represents something.
okay. All right. Okay, that's actually very, very nice. And as for this one, because you mentioned being, by the way, a Christian. I myself is a Christian, by the way, Harley. How does your faith influence your storytelling?
Quite easy. Uh, the thing is my faith um, makes me have to tell the truth. So because I don't think God is pleased unless you are telling the truth
Mm.
from your own heart.
Yes, it's really nice to be genuine and be truthful. And also, some might say your themes are dark for a believer. What would you say to those readers?
Well, so is the Bible.
Well, yes, there's a lot of, killing happens there. But yeah, well, you don't shy away from, profanity or violence. Well, I enjoyed, by the way, reading the book earlier. I told you earlier. Do you think faith-based fiction should include realism like this?
Absolutely, I do because
Yes.
if you are truly a Christian, if you truly believe that if you truly believe that the Bible is real, you truly believe that Jesus saved you from your sins as such, well, then you're
Yes.
obligated to be truthful. and that goes for the
Yes,
whole realm.
that's really true. I mean, if you live life, live an honest, simple life. You know, because one day if you don't follow your values, I've just heard it from a friend. You're gonna wake up hating the person that you've become,
Exactly.
and that's nice of you. Yeah. And as for as you said back then, I just wanna let all our audience know that you already have a screenplay. Your dialogue and scene settings are extremely vivid. Do you see your work as cinematic?
I see it as truthful.
How about how do you, by the way, Harley, do you balance the character development with world building in a story that's so grounded in process and place?
Well, as I said, this story is based upon the administration of Donald Trump. So, with that being said, I believe that Donald Trump is nothing but a liar, and everything he says is a lie. Everything he does is based upon a lie. So, therefore, the murders represent lies, and that's why the murders represent lies because it um, it gets closer to home. Since my book is based upon Donald Trump's administration, everything in the book represents something from his administration. Um, as in the bikers, they represent the Mexicans. Uh,
Hmm.
let's see, there's Nathaniel Rodridge. He's the mafia leader. He represents Putin. Um, and of course, Humboldt itself represents all of the United States.
And the final judgment scene, by the way, where Leonard is sentenced to run a hellish meat plant. What sparked that vision?
I had to think of something that would enable torture for like forever.
Well, something like a hell then. All right. Well, I would like to ask you this. What do you want readers to take away from, Henderson's Meat Wagon
Well,
from your book?
okay, whether you support Trump or whether you don't support Trump is invalid because whether you enjoy the story is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think if you enjoy the story, uh, whatever you get out of it doesn't make any difference as long as you enjoy the story. But however, um,
Exactly.
if you are, I'm saying that if you are a Trump supporter, just look at it as a story. Don't look at it like I'm bashing your president. I'm just telling a story.
Yeah, we understand as well because we're non-partisan, of course, here, and you know I by the way, I myself enjoyed the story, as I said earlier, and I love it. I even shared it to my fiance.
That's
And
great.
by the way, have you had? Yeah, I did. Uh, by the way, Harley, have you had readers respond, emotionally to the story? I mean, was it, either disturbed or moved?
No,
How
no. I
was
mean,
the reaction?
I haven't had a chance to get out in the public like this. This is actually the first chance.
Oh, this is the first step,
Yeah,
then.
I mean, I've written a few books. I've written a
Well,
few
that's
books,
actually.
but this is the first chance I had to actually get out in the public, and for that I really appreciate you for it.
Thank you so much as well for being with us as well, and the pleasure is ours. By the way, would you say your characters reflect part of yourself?
Absolutely. I can't help it. I have to put myself into it. Well, I mean, that they get their emotions from me. What can I say? I'm the writer,
Yeah.
so they have to get their emotions from me, the writer.
Yes. Like, for readers, audience right now, planning to read, the Henderson's Meat Wagon. how would you, describe
Say buckle up,
your
Buttercup.
reflection to your characters?
I'd say
Yeah.
buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah, well, I did.
It's going to be a
Well,
hell of
the
a
first
ride.
when I opened the page, my eyes was wide open and like wow. Well, yeah, if anyone here wanted to buy Henderson's Meat Wagon, it's available to Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, and also being rebranded in the Zest Virtual Media. So now we are now in the segment, which is rapid fire. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Well
Go for
said.
it.
Let's pivot. Awesome. So let's pivot some rapid fire questions then, Harley. Before we wrap this meaty conversation up, um, yeah. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. Let's go.
So, Harley, what's a book you wish you wrote?
A book I wish I wrote? There isn't one I wish I wrote
Yes.
because I wrote all the ones that I wished I wrote.
Oh. You got me there. Okay, then. Next question. If you could ask God one question, what would it be?
Uh, wow. Well, if I could ask God one question, I'd say, what is my purpose?
All right. So, next question then. What's your favorite meat cut and your least favorite?
My
Since you said you're a
favorite
butcher.
my favorite meat cut and my least favorite. Okay, okay. That's
Yes.
that's easy. Um, I would have to say ribeyes are my favorite, and my
Ribeyes.
least favorite are what do you call uh, those plain steaks you get at the restaurant? What are they called? I can't even remember what they're called, and I call myself a meat cutter, huh? No,
Interesting.
no, I like the brisket. No,
Um,
no, that's got flavor. No, I'm talking about the other stuff. It don't that don't have flavor. The sirloin
ah,
steak.
sirloins. Yeah. Yeah, that one. Okay. Um, Next question then. What line from your book are you most proud
Oh,
of?
interesting,
Hmm?
interesting. What line from my book am I the most proud of? Oh, wow, I never thought of that. Because there's a lot of them, and I'm proud of the whole thing. Um, I'm proud of everything. I'm proud of everything I'm doing at this point. Uh, but
Mm,
what I'm most proud of is the central message that I have in the book.
hmm. Which
The
is?
central message, which is um, which is about Donald Trump, which is about uh, how
Mm,
he has lied to everybody, and everybody has believed him like a freaking cult. You know, that's
mm,
what I'm most proud of with this book.
I understand. All right. Okay, and that is a wrap. And thank you, by the way. Do you have anything you wanna, thank
Absolutely,
first,
want to.
Harley? Anything to promote? Yeah,
I want to promote my other
go ahead.
books. I want to promote Rita Bowler and Her Heart of Desire. I want to promote Bob and Larry, the time traveling stoners, because I write comedy too. The Adventures of Bob and Larry, the Time Traveling Stoners. As a matter of fact, Bob and Larry are actually in Henderson's Meat Wagon, and that's before they time travel. There's Richard Bowler, Keeper of the Heart. That's
Mm,
before Rita Bowler and Her Heart of Desire. And then there is um, Tales from the Heart, which is a short story book about the heart of the heart of desire. And the heart of desire is
hmm.
about a sorceress from the 1500s in Spain who makes a heart-shaped gem. She gives it magic powers and then gives it to the king as a trap. And then later on, she becomes demon possessed and gets killed by her demon possessed husband. and her spirit enters the heart, and in which, in present day, someone picks up the heart and they get everything they wish for, but also with a demon possessed sorceress who is actually a little pissed off at the world, uh, attached to the heart.
Those very, very interesting books. And I hope. By the way, what is your next project? What's next with HD Thul this
Well,
2025?
right now I'm working on a short story book on Bob and Larry, and it's going to be called
Mm,
"The Twisted Tales of Oliver Zippy." And Oliver Zippy is
okay.
the magic hookah that they use to travel through time with, and in which,
Time
yeah,
travel.
and they travel through time, and in which one of my books I wrote about them was Bob and Larry meet Jesus. And when they come back with a little bit
Yeah.
of Jesus grass, and they put it in their hookah, and their hookah comes alive.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Mhm. Mhm. Oh, Henderson's Meat Wagon too. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna watch that. And when uh, when are we expecting for the you know for this to be released, Harley? Hmm. 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 All right. Of course. Well, I mean that the important part here is that you have the stories, right? And it's there. Yeah, there's always opportunities for us. And well, thank you again, Harley, for this exciting time with us. That's Harley Thul, folks, author, truth teller, and the butcher of fictional innocence. Henderson's Meat Wagon is available now, and trust me, you'll never walk past a meat counter the same way again. Harley, thank you so much for being here. This has been a real talk where fiction gets filleted and the truth gets served rare. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and remember, some stories got deeper than others. See you next time.